joined by American lawyer Rachel Fiset. Good to speak to all of you. What is left for the Duke to do now, legally?
He can settle the case. And that is what he can legally do to stop it. The judge today ruled this case is going forward and discovery may begin. And discovery is where the texts and emails show up. It's where the sweating shows up. It's where the depositions come and the witnesses and all the facts start pouring out. So if he does not want the facts to start pouring out, he has to settle the case. And what I think Prince Andrew's attorneys have to argue will put him in a pickle, which is he's a potential other defendant. Well, why is he a potential other defendant?
Right.
Why would she have contemplated that he was a potential other defendant at the time? And that puts them in the place of arguing that he was part of the conspiracy that this was seeking to settle.
Joining us now to break down the legal aspects of this case is Rachel Fiset.
Now, what will come forward through this case is what is reasonable driving, what is negligent driving as it relates to a car when it has autopilot on. This will be a precedent-setting case, and it will definitely be one to watch.
Well, let's speak to Rachel Fiset. What do you make of this situation with the uncertainty around whether any criminal charges will actually be brought?
Well, I'm not surprised that they did not have any answers today. The police and the DA are going to have to do a lot of investigating in order to determine whether they should bring any criminal charges against anyone as it relates to this incident.
And I don't think it's for Alec Baldwin as the shooter. I think it's for a higher up as it relates to negligence in general across the set, including the hiring of such a novice armorer.
But should it be determined that he did pull the trigger later, those kinds of conflicts between what one says on TV and what one might find later through forensic evidence, that's where you start to do some damage. Should you go to trial, or should the prosecutors think that you're in some way attempting to mislead them?
Could this trial impact future citizens arrest cases?
I believe even Georgia is in the process of dismantling their citizens arrest law. The citizens arrest law in Georgia is a civil era law meant to trap or make an arrest on escaped slaves. These laws are very outdated. They are absolutely generally racist.
Here to help us break that down is Rachel Fiset, managing partner with Zweiback, Fiset and Coleman.
This case is fascinating, and it's fascinating to everyone because it's a bit of Silicon Valley gone wrong.
So she could face up to 20 years for each of the 4 counts. Likely those will be served concurrently. And her sentencing guidelines kind of roughly are between 10 to 15 years on this $145 million of fraud. I don't think that the defense could get around the very close ties that Ms. Maxwell had with Jeffrey Epstein. There was nothing they could do to get around that these acts could not have been committed without her knowledge. And as time and time again, the testimony was showing, she was there to help bring the girls to him.
We're joined now to discuss this by American criminal lawyer Rachel Fiset.
Right. It's meant to confuse. It's really meant to do no harm. So when Prince Andrew's lawyers are filing this, they don't exactly know what to say here, and they absolutely don't want to admit that's a genuine photograph. But it's really a little hard to deny it. So you get some words on a page that don't make a lot of sense.
It's basically clever waffle to just say, basically.
I'm glad you described it like that.
Okay.
Rachel Fiset, thank you for joining us this morning. Chris, good to get your input as ever.
Thank you very much.